Habari ya jioni wa Kenya wenzangu. Leo tena ni siku ingine ambao tunakuja kujadili mambo yao inayojiri katika nchi yetu. Mengi yametendeka, mengi yamesemwa, na katika kikao hii yetu na mwenzangu Marco Bura tutaongezea tu kwa yale mambo watu wamesema, tuseme hivyo, na tusemi kwamba yale tunaenda kusema ni utakubaliana nayo, lakini inalingana tu na fikra zetu tu. Marco Bura, hali gani?
Niko salama ndugu yangu. Asante sana kwa kunialika tena jioni hii. Ndio tuzungumze, tuyaongelee yale ambayo yalifanyika in the course of the week and also yesterday and today.
Okay. Asante sana. Mimi pia nimefurahi kuja hapa na kufanya kipindi na wewe. Jioni yako imekuwa aje?
Jioni yangu imekuwa vyema. I think that is the right Kiswahili na ngeli. Kiswahili yangu kuwa chache, lakini nitapambana nayo vilivyo. Nina uhakika ya kwamba hivi karibuni nitakuwa mweledi wa lugha hii ya Kiswahili.
Shukrani.
Unajua kwa imani.
Asante sana. Unajua saa zingine inafaa ujitambulishe na lugha yenyu, unaona, kwa sababu unajua Kizungu ama Kiingereza ni lugha ambayo kililetwa na wakoloni, na hiyo saa zingine tunabidi tu tuongee, kwa sababu watu wengi ni kama hiyo ndio inakuwa wanaelewa sana, hawataki kuongea Kiswahili.
Nakubaliana na wewe. Ni kweli kwa Kiswahili kwa hii kontinenti yetu ya Afrika, it is a continental language and tunafaa tuizungumze mara nyingi so that we don't lose our culture. It explains a lot when it comes to where we've come from as a people and also as the people of Africa.
Okay, sawa. Najua tutaingia kwa mdahalo ama mambo ya sisi kutoa maoni yetu kulingana na mambo ambayo iliyojiri leo. Rais mwenyewe alitangaza tena baraza la mawaziri ambao wataenda kupigwa msasa pale bungeni. Lakini unapata katika dunia pia kuna Kiswahili inatumika sana katika kongamano mingi sana sana. Ukienda katika UN unapata kama Kiswahili ni mojawapo ya lugha ama ambao zinatumika, lakini sana viongozi wa Afrika wakienda huko hawazungumzi kwa Kiswahili, lakini wanazungumzia Kizungu. Asante sana. Hatutaendelea na Kizungu, lakini itabidi sasa turudi kwa Kizungu. Thank you so much, Mr. Marco Bura, for coming in today. We just want to weigh our thoughts on what have just happened. You've seen the ODM and Raila Odinga has joined the government. There's no doubt. He has nominated almost like 4 members of the ODM to join the government. And I think now they are going to form government of national unity. We just want to weigh options. We just want to give our thoughts. And what is the way forward is the nomination of the members of ODM is going to create more change in the government. If I start with you, we know Joho has been nominated, Mbadi has been nominated, Wycliffe Ombetsa Oparanya has been nominated, and who again? Opiyo Wandayi. So what is your take? And also we want to just look at how Raila has played in the political processes, especially when it comes to government, that coming into the government. Thank you so much, Marco Bura, for coming in. And also I'm inviting our viewers, share with us your thoughts in this, because it's a conversation. No one is right. Each and every opinion counts in this. Thank you so much, Marco Bura.
Okay, first I want to thank you for reverting back to English. I think if you'd have continued in Kiswahili, labda ingebidi nitoroke. So we saw the president presser today, and we somehow expected this because we had seen some signs. Yesterday we saw the member of parliament of Homa Bay Town, Honorable Kaloma. He spoke about the same, and he said that as a party, they had made a decision that they were going to get into engagement of having a broad government, as per what he said yesterday. But again, we had also seen uh, Honorable Mbadi, the chairman of ODM party. He spoke about the same, and he was very particular, and he spoke with a lot of energy on the reasons why they believe as a party they have to unite and form a broad government.
Yeah.
From the wordings that he used, of course, we knew either he had been given a position. I think when you were having a conversation yesterday,
Yeah.
he said the same.
Yeah.
And true to our word, Mbadi has been appointed to be the Cabinet Secretary of Finance. That is a docket that we've never seen this in the lowland for quite some time. So somehow it's a miracle. But I believe they're also Kenyans. They have the capability. From where I sit, Honorable Mbadi is one of the most learned people when it comes to finance and the economy. So if maybe he succeeds, I believe that he'll do a good work. But again, ODM, it's so unfortunate because the only people that we saw from the list of the president, they were all coming from the ODM party.
Yeah.
So it could be that from the pressure that was given by the other Zimio affiliates, led by Wiper, Jubilee, NAC, DAP, I think they stood their ground, and that is why we've not seen anyone from other parties. The only people we saw were from ODM. But again, I saw Her Excellency Martha Karwat wrote something on a social media account. She said that aluta continua, meaning, and some wordings there, that they are not boarding. So whatever the president announced, according to what she wrote, the people who were appointed, those were their individual positions, not as per their coalition agreement or something like that.
Okay.
We also saw, maybe I do analysis of each one of them. We saw the nomination of former governor, that is the governor of Kakamega. Governor Oparanya worked very well. That's a fact. Among the governors who were there in the last term, is one of those who worked very well. We also saw the nomination of former Governor Joe, who is also the deputy party of ODM, and we saw the majority leader of ODM, who was also appointed. We've not seen anyone from any other party. So that brings us to this question, of course, that I've seen one of our viewers, Judith, is saying that finally UDA's words ODM. So that's a fact. The UDA has finally words ODM, and from where I sit, I think ODM is maybe they are I don't know what to say. If all two deputy party leaders have been appointed to be cabinet secretaries in a government that they're not part of, they're supposed to be in the opposition. So that brings a lot of questions that possibly we'll talk about later.
Okay, thank you so much for that analysis. And I also might have, I can give also my view, because it's so unfortunate, because when you recall very well, Mr. Makobura, on how immediately after election and the High Court confirmed that President Ruto really won the election, people went on the street. And among other things, that people, especially the ODM being in Azimio, were saying it was about raising the question of illegitimacy. How legit was Ruto's government? And I can remember so well how people went on the street. young people lost their lives. And one of the moves was that Ruto must go, and Ruto must go, Ruto must go. It went for quite some time. Then we had NADCO report. We said, okay, let's come and converge and negotiate. And when we negotiated, the people of Kenya, especially those who were in the forefront, did not get something from that. And what did the report came with? The report came with positions. You know, that's what the main thing that the report came with. So it tells you how our political elites are playing this game. Another thing also I might be looking at, if you look at the history, this is the 4th time, I might call it, Raila is having, Right Honorable Prime Minister, he's coming into government, especially. So the history has now proven that the Right Honorable Prime Minister has been in the government for all the presidents that we've had. And let no one make mistake of that. He came into government with President Moi. They shook hands, and we know what happened. And there was a casualty on that. He came into government with the President Kibaki. He was in the government. In Uhuru Ruto government, he was, yeah. Then again now, he is in Ruto's government. So he has always been in the government. So I think this is one of the things that so many people have been raising is Raila really running to get to be president of this country, or is just putting his name on the ballot, knowing very well that even if I lose, I will still be in the government? That is something that also people are asking. So maybe also you can give your thought on what you might think also. That's how I do my analysis.
It is true. Remember, that was 1997.
Yeah.
I read that history. I was actually not there.
Yeah.
So from the information that I've gathered,
you read it from the books.
From the information that I've gathered,
yeah,
Raila Amolo Odinga got into the government of Moi when Moi had started, when other politicians had started ganging up, and they wanted to ensure that Moi got out of power. So that is when he invited Raila, and immediately Raila got into that government. There was stability. Moi felt that everything was now okay. Come to the time of Kibaki, remember Raila helped Kibaki got into power. That's a fact, and they signed an MOU. But from what I've also read, the MOU was not honored, and that angered Raila and his followers, political followers. So out of that, they went to the people of Kenya had issues. There was supposed to be referendum of which Kibaki lost.
Yeah.
And that reminded him that truly was not with the people, so he had to look for other solutions. After that, we had the 2007, 2008. Raila came, and then after that, we are being told from the history and what we saw that there is the government that has really done something in the Republic of Kenya, the Grand Coalition. But again, when Uhuru and Ruto got into power in 2013, in the first term, they were good buddies. Raila was performing his opposition role very well until the second term, when Uhuru was being seen as a weak president. It was unfortunate that the deputy and the close allies of the deputy, that is the information they were giving the people of Kenya, that it is Ruto who was running the president behind the scenes. So when Uhuru felt that he was getting out of control, he was not in control of his government.
Yeah.
Raila came in, and that is when we had the first handshake in 2018. After the handshake, Uhuru felt that everything was in order, and that even calmed the political instability in the republic.
No, Makobura, I tend to disagree with you. I don't think that it calmed the political stability in the country, because if you're looking at it that way, remember what the current president went through during the time when Raila and Ruto were.
No, I meant that it calmed the political tension that was there. Yeah, so come to 2022 when Ruto took over, President Ruto took over. Of course, the opposition had issues with the whole election and everything, and we saw a lot of people demonstrating. Some people were killed, and that led to NADCO, of which the NADCO, actually, from the conversations that Raila has been fronting to have with the governments, majority, if you start with the BBI, not just BBI, if we start with, let's say, he was appointed by Moi as a minister.
I think he was in roads.
Yeah.
Something like settlement, roads and settlement, something.
Yeah, and then when we got to Kibaki, of course, he wanted an expansion of the government. He wanted to appoint some of his followers.
Yeah,
we saw that when he got into Uru's government, some of his close allies were appointed. We are seeing the same in 2022. So whenever there's political instability, whenever the people of Kenya are crying because they need help from the government, when Raila helps and gets into a negotiation with the government, all we see is gifting of his close political allies. And so this is really worrying us. But again, out of that analysis, there's something that I'm also noticing, that the people, Raila stood for presidency as from 2007, 2013, 2017, 2022. Yeah. This brings me to this question. Let's start with 2007. Yeah. If the people of Kenya believed that Kibaki was the right person and he was voted in as the president, when the people again felt that everything was not okay, Raila came, and we saw that truly the government did well. In 2013, Raila stood, Uhuru won, meaning the people of Kenya rejected Raila Amolo Odinga. In 2017, again, the people of Kenya rejected Raila Amolo Odinga. In 2022, the same way. But this brings me to this question. How comes that whenever the people of Kenya elect presidents, they have never given Raila a chance? But whenever the people start facing issues or problem, Raila gets into this analysis from the people that you're receiving the government.
Let me just hold in there. There's something that I want to follow up with you, because you're saying that the people rejected Raila Odinga, and that is not what people say. Even the political class say. You remember very well that Raila has always insisted, and the majority of people who are fans to the Right Honorable Prime Minister, that Raila has always been, his victory has always been stolen. And they say the system, has been against him. Yeah. But now, to me, I would think this way. I think like maybe what is happening by even system being against Raila, it's through design, because if the system reject him, or the people feel that, okay, Raila is not worth to become a president. And you can even go to the clips during the campaign on how insulting these leaders are, including the Right Honorable Prime Minister, including the President Ruto. And now it becomes very easy for him to become into government. And you talked about coming to kind of like to make it more stable. I would say not stable really, but it's like a catalyst to neutralize some forces that comes of the people. And what is being neutralized, to me, I think are the genuine things that the Kenyan people are raising, that they want government to do for them. So when Kenya say, the Kenyan people are saying, okay, we don't want corruption. We want transparent election. We want good education. We want good healthcare. And Kenya are agitating for this and going to the street and demanding for this. But when that pressure comes in, the Raila come in and neutralize that. And after neutralizing it, what happens is that the things that the Kenyans are yearning for is not given to them. But what happens is neutralized by give me. It's a give and take. I'll say, okay, I'm going to neutralize this, Mr. Ruto, or I'm going to neutralize this, Mr. President Uhuru Kenyatta. I'm going to neutralize it, Mr. Kibaki. I'm going to neutralize this, Mr. Moi. But what am I going to get in return? So the return, that return is there. So the return is, okay, the closest ally of the Right Honorable Prime Minister will come into the government and be given those posts, and people will cool down. But when you look at it, do we really solve those issues? Because look at it in this way. Every time we've gone to the street to demand for those, Kenyans are demanding for what belongs to them. There are people who have lost their life. Count it all the way to 207, 208, that you say you're not there. We have the internally displaced people until today. Some of them, they've not gotten justice. Think about what happened in Kenya, how they placed in Kiamba. I don't think they've gotten justice. That one gone there. And what happened, we saw the political class coming together and they gave position. And that was the end of it. And Kenyans went with their work as usual. Come to the next general election, the same thing happened. The positions were given. You know, and now we are also seeing the Gen Z came in again. So many of them have lost their life. And what was happening immediately after that, it was about, okay, we need to start negotiating. And when we are negotiating, what is it that we are going to negotiate over? We are going to form government of national unity, or we are going to come together to work together of that. So I think this is a norm. And the other day I was talking to you, I talked to you about brotherhood. And this is what we are seeing. The brotherhood is where the people who have been in political class for the last 40 years, yeah, if you want to shake their status quo, they will not allow you to do that. They will not allow you to do that. Because see what has happened. When the Gen Z went on the street, yeah, and one of the Gen Z, they made history. One of the history that the Gen Z made, it was the very first time in the life history of Ruto political career, the president political career, that Mr. Ruto, the President Ruto, was conceding defeat. He has never conceded defeat ever since he started to be in political. President Ruto has always been winning his political battles. He has never lost a political battle. But in his political career, Gen Z made it possible for him to concede defeat. A big loss for him. He had to dismiss his cabinets. The IG had to resign because of the Gen Z, which, if you look at what Raila has been fighting for, he has achieved, but he has not achieved what Gen Z has done. That is on the Ruto part. When we look on the Raila part, Raila is the only person who could call for demonstration, and the country would go to holiday. People will say tomorrow is a holiday because Raila, the Right Honorable, has called for mandamano. But remember, the Gen Z has also done that. So which means the popularity of, in terms of calling out protest, the Right Honorable Prime Minister was losing that power that he has. These people are taking over power. So that was also was shaking the political class. Yeah, so maybe if you have something to weigh on that, then we will look at the politics in it, because we have Gachagua is here. How is it going to play out and that? So maybe if you have something also to add about Raila, and then I will come with another analysis. My thought again.
Okay. From what you've just said, it is true that Raila has always disputed the elections, presidential elections, not just him, but even the people of Kenya. But again, when we see that most of times when the people in power, especially the presidents, whenever they start having in some few first or 2 years immediately they get into power, we've always seen them becoming like a darling of the people. We saw that with Ruto. He was a very popular president. But again, after 1-2 years, immediately he takes over his government. We've always seen them get out of the way, meaning like we've always seen them, we've seen some incapability, in some incompetency within them.
Yeah.
And That is what we saw actually in the presidency of Ruto. When he got into power, he had good manifesto. He promised the people so many things, and people believed that he was going to actualize.
Yeah.
But when he got into power, he didn't actualize that. So he lost that popularity very fast. And that also brings us to this question. If people are saying that they've been Raila's been denied victory, then that might also confirm that truly he's been denied. Because how on earth would you get a full support from the people, and then after some few years, they then retract their support? I think that that can confirm again when we go back to Uru's government. Of course, there was the issue when he got into power during Kibaki's time. So it might be true that truly they've been taking the leadership from, they've been denying Raila to run the country as a president. But again, you've also said that you've also said that we are seeing, the people of Kenya are seeing it this way. Raila, in one way or another, has been gifting or giving back to his close political allies at the expense of the people.
Yes.
You see that he goes to negotiate, like the last negotiation that we had, the NADCO.
Yes.
First thing that Raila would have done immediately they got into the table is fighting for the injustices that we saw, fighting for the lives, compensation for the people who died, fighting for the injustice that we saw, especially within the IEBC, fighting for the reason why the people got into demonstration. The people were saying that life was getting unbearable, that everything was too high, the taxes were too high. Those are the things that he would have talked about. But the moment he got there, today we are seeing deputy party leader of ODM is being appointed as a cabinet secretary in a government, in a political party run by the presidency, and yet in the opposition party, we've seen a minority leader being appointed by the president as a cabinet secretary. And that brings us to this question. Are we even following the constitution of the Republic of Kenya? The constitution is very clear. Honorable Pio Wandai is the leader of the opposition. In a situation where we are seeing a leader of opposition in the parliament representing the opposition being nominated as a cabinet secretary, are we even respecting the constitution that we swore, that Ruto swore, and even these members of parliament swore that they would respect? Someone might go to court and then even say that whatever is being done by this government and all the appointments are all invalid or are not legal.
Marco Bura, I agree with you there about how respect or how obedience are we to the binding agreement that the Kenya has with these people. This is constitution. That's what binds us as a country. This is what guides our morals, and these are what guides our leadership. And you talked about the leader of minority in the parliament. Remember, one of the things that NADCO report was suggesting was about the fidelity to the political parties or the fidelity to the coalition. So if they made those rules and these were to protect the government from poaching, other members of the parliament, then this was informed by especially some ODM members, that I really feel that they should apologize for them because they were insulted. People like Honorable Jalango were excommunicated from WhatsApp group just for betraying the party, and now they have indicated that they were right. They saw this before everybody could see. So they reached there before. So I want to see on how they are going to act on that, the way they happen to the members of parliament like Honorable Jalango, Honorable Nyamita, Honorable Tom Ojienda, Elisha, all the members that really went to work with the president. And let me just come to the minority. leader that you talk of, Opiyo Wandayi. You know, you remember very well also how they fought Sabina Chege. He was the minority, the deputy minority leader. And my question is, how are we going to follow the constitution? Because who is going to be the minority leader since you've joined the government? So such like position, they should relinquish this position and maybe give them to Wiper, because the Wiper decided to remain in the position. And I don't know whether that one is going to happen. So this is a case whereby the leaders, they make laws. At the moment, they try to make these laws when just favors them for the moment. But the very moment that opportunity escapes and another opportunity comes, they violate those laws. So that's why, like I'm telling you, it is quite so sad. Another thing that I want to talk about Raila, maybe on a positive side, I would say maybe Raila has seen within himself that I've really fought for this country. I've been maimed, I've been tear gassed, and this is the only opportunity that let me give myself a birthday, let me gift myself. And how do I give myself? I gift myself by taking my own interest first and leave the interest of the country. Because I think I've done a lot for this country. He might have been thinking of that way. I'm not saying that is his thought. That is maybe, I'm just giving my own analysis of how he might be thinking. And he say, I'm not having that energy to run in 2027. And since the President Ruto is going to campaign for me for AUC, so it is a give and take, you know, you scratch my back and I scratch your back. Campaign for me for AU, then I will help you to stabilize the country. Because there are so many forces that I think were fighting President Ruto. One, there was a rebellion within the government he has, because sources reveal that the president himself were not in good terms with the deputy. So he was kind of like, in hostage, yeah? So, and there was also a Gen Z movement that was making him very unpopular. And what was the remedies, or what are the things that I would do, or the mechanism that are easily reachable, that can make me stable or can make me stay in power? First of all is, let me reach out to Raila. If I reach out to Raila with his powers, then we can stabilize this. And this one will be to destabilize the rebellious from what is alleged that they were having with the deputy president. And that one was seen, especially when the second pressure that the president did immediately after the Maandamano entered the parliament. They had two different press, and you could see the both leaders speaking from different directions. They were speaking like co-president. When president gave his pressure, Gachagua too gave his pressure. So like the Gachagua was also talking as a co-president, and I think at some point he said, I quote, I was not appointed, I was elected, you know. And he ended up even giving warning to the Nurdin Haji that he should resign. So you are seeing that. So that the politics also plays part. It's scratch my back, I scratch your back. And also Raila saying, okay, this is a birthday to me. Let me reward myself for what I've also done. Let me take this opportunity. So sometimes as we tend to blame him for maybe saying that he has not made the right move, also in him, also he has that feeling, okay, let me reward myself. That is one thing that I think I must give it credit to him.
Okay. You know, Raila is almost retiring from the political life.
Yeah.
What he should actually be doing now is, it is a fact that he has fought for the people of Kenya. It is a fact that he has fought for the rights and the democracy that we enjoy, him and other people. We really appreciate that as a people.
Yeah.
But if suppose I was his advisor, I think I would have advised Raila to remain focused and not to allow the thing of scratch my back and scratch your back. Because, you know, once you're a liberator, you have to be a focused leader. Raila is losing the focus. a leader is someone who takes risk. If he should be taking risk, a risk that is going to help the people, not a risk that is going to help him or the people around him. He has a right to get what he wants. We are not denying that. But again, from where I see it, Raila is not really doing, like the ODM party as a whole, led by Raila Amolo Odinga. As much as they are preaching to people that they should drink water, they are drinking wine, and this is where we differ with them. The ODM party, they have really taught so many people in the Republic of Kenya. With their revolts, the people of Kenya have learned so many things, issues to do with their rights. Most of the things that they've always done, they've always quoted the constitution to back it. And from that, they have educated so many of us. And we have felt that, of course, truly, there is democracy here. But again, what really makes me wonder is, for example, if you start talking about the NADCO report.
Yes.
One of the reasons that they had presented before the president was that they should be recognized as the majority party, because constitutionally,
yes,
truly they were the majority party. But this issue of the government or the people in power poaching the members of parliament or leaders in the opposition, it is unconstitutional, it is illegal. But why is it that they took their time and presented this before that, and they wanted this to be solved? And then, now that there is an opportunity of actualizing, giving the president the pressure so that he may actualize this, now they are getting into the government. And they are the opposition leader. They told the president that he has to respect the constitution. I saw Raila and even the ODM party, just the other day, Raila said that Ruto has to respect the constitution. Respecting the constitution means that whatever is in the constitution, the opposition should remain being in the opposition. They should not be part of the ruling government. Why are they insisting and giving president pressure, and then they are doing the opposite? It is them who are lying to us as a people. And that is why I'm saying I would actually advise the young people that they continue with the demonstration, because we, the young people of the Republic of Kenya, we have no one to represent us. We have no one to fight for us. We've seen the people who would have fought for us was the ODM led by Raila Amolo Odinga, because they are the people in the opposition. We saw how Mbadi talked the other day. We didn't know that he was expecting a cabinet secretary slot. That is why he was telling the people that they should stop, that the young people should stop going to the streets. So these people are trading with our lives, and we have to wake up. And this is why I saw sometimes back when they had issues with some members of parliament, ODM members of parliament, the rebels. Among the casualties were the senator of Kisumu, Professor Tom Ojienda. I remember him having an interview with one of these TV stations. That was, I think it was Citizen TV. And he said very well that today you might abuse us. Today you might go to the streets and tell the people that we are rebels, that we don't respect the constitution. But I want to assure you today, I remember him and I am quoting him. He said clearly that this Raila Amolo Odinga is going to get into this government very soon. And I want to tell you that these people who are now abusing us, that the people who will be too close now to the president. And this, where are we as a country? There is a lot of insincerity. There is a lot of playing within the leadership of the Republic of Kenya. They only care about their interest. They don't care about the interest of the people that that give them the mandate to be represented. And we have to rethink twice. We don't need to trust ODM and the leadership of the ODM at all. And this is why we are saying any leader in ODM party who has future political plans, they should get out of ODM and start preparing early enough. Because from what we are seeing, ODM is no longer to hold.
Okay, Marco Buddha, let me remind you something. You know, thank you, Mr. Evans Okuku, for joining. If you are out there and you're watching us, you can be part of us by subscribing Also, you can also give your thought to us, because this is a conversation that we're just weighing options and saying that what is happening, what has really changed, and where are we headed. Makobura, you are talking about a political party. You know, one thing that I remind you, the political parties that we are talking about, these are not political parties. These are individual businesses. You know, these are individual companies that are controlled. And remember, they usually take large money from exchequer in the name of running running the political party. But there's no sincerity, because they have when to give, who do they want to give their certificate to whenever they feel like. If they feel maybe you have divergence view, you don't align to their thought, they will take that certificate away from you. Look at even Keter, Alfred Keter with UDA. That is, how many people have not gotten the ODM certificate, even Wiper, just because they have alternative view of the party, you know. So provided that you are kind of like playing with the, you want to root out that. Yeah. So that is why, and they've always, something that always has been with them is that they've held that leadership thought, and they know that we are the leaders, we are the decision maker, we are the lawmaker. So everything that we say is very right. If you look at the history of this country, what the Gen Zs were pushing is not very new. These are some of the things that the Right Honorable Prime Minister has pushed for the last 40 years. They've been pushing for good governance. You know, they're not very new, but and the Gen Zs are now pushing it in a very different way. And the way they're pushing it in a different way, they're not mortgaging their push with the tribe. We don't bring our tribe when we are bringing this, you know, whereby we mortgage our tribe and say, okay, I'm bringing 2 on the table, you are bringing 1. So which one should I give you? The Gen Z are moving ideology that is going to give this country a breather. Yeah. We are talking about, we know how the expenditure is, that we are expending more, especially when it comes to the expenditure of the government. And look at what has happened. The ministerial posts they're almost 11, 22. You know, how then are you telling us that now those are the measures that you're going to do? And there is a tweet that I may not paraphrase it very nice, when Oparanya was asked about, he tweeted somewhere that if it's a matter of joining Kenya Kwanza, he can go home and be a farmer. If he's a real patriotic and somebody who really loves this country, he should do that. He should not join and say, Mr. President, thank you for your nomination, but I feel I cannot serve in that capacity to be a minister. If he's really a patriotic, we are waiting to see people who share the dream of Kenya, people who love Kenya. We are not saying they've not done much. They've done much, but at some point, we question, because how, for instance, because when you go into the government, you have to respect the leaders who are there. You know, let's say, for example, tell me how Mbadi is going to respect Honorable Gashagwa, yet you've said how tribal, this is a tribal and a worst leader. How are you going to work with it?
You know, maybe it's going to pretend, and you know, whenever there's pretense, that means that there's no goodwill and there's no good leadership that is coming out. Another thing that I also wanted to say is it really truthful? Are we seeing truthfulness within the leadership? If Kenya has a population of almost 50 million, almost 30 million are adults, and out of that number, a good number is very much learned, and that 30, almost 30 million are youths. So this brings me to this question. Does it, of course, when they're appointing, they need to look at what someone can do. But from what we've seen in this country, if you elect me, for example, if I have a knowledge in what mining is, if I've studied something that is related to that, if you give me that position, of course, I can drive it. For example, you appoint me in the Ministry of ICT, I know what should be done. Why is it that we are recycling old politicians? People who have been in politics for years and years. Why does it mean that there are no, out of these 50 million people, there are no other people who can do the work? Does it mean that these positions only belong to closer allies of the political class? Does it mean that it belongs to people who have been in the leadership before? This is where we are messing. And we, the young people, we told William Samoei Ruto, the president, that if he wants his government to succeed, he has to appoint technocrats. Technocrats should not be politicians. He has to go for people who are not going to concentrate politicking. He has to go to people with professional ethics, people who are going to do what they've been told to do. The moment you start electing politicians, what do you expect? Whenever they fail pressure from the people, of course, they are naturally politicians. They've been in political field for quite some time. They will always answer you in a political manner. And this is the mistake that we've been making as a country. The young people are very clear. Bring technocrats. We've seen Ruto bringing politicians, opposition leaders. Where are we headed as a country? And this is the reason why we are still getting into messes every now and then. The moment you bring politicians who have been in politics for years and years, these people will not bring change. What change do you expect from, for example, someone like, let's say, Mbadi? Yes, you saw the kind of comments that he gave the other day. He's been in a position, but since he was promised the CS position, you saw how fast, how drastic he shifted. And now he was protecting and defending a government that he had
insulted, by the way. Actually, if you go back, my friend, you would see the kind of words that insulting the words that were said to President Ruto. And they were very demeaning words that could not even come from the leaders. Sorry for cutting you off, Mr. Makubura.
Yeah. So this is what we are saying as young people, that we don't want this culture, political culture, where politicians play with our minds. We want people who are not politicians. We want people who can deliver. And this is the reason why we are still insisting, and the youths are still saying that they are going to maintain they are going to continue the demonstration, because among the things that they that presented to the president is simply doing the opposite.
Okay. Thank you, Makobura. Let me just read comments from a few people here. We have one from Tamina Atieno. Raila always right. Maybe kuna kitu ameona yenye sisi hatujaona, sio tusiwe wepesi kujaji. Thank you so much for your comment and your view. We are not judging. We are just trying to look at options based on what has really happened from the past and this one. And thank you so much, Atieno, and thank you for being part of us. And we have Danis, she's saying, this act of betrayal to people of Kenya and the youths by conmen, Raila Odinga joining, thinking, Raila is a conman and power angry again, recycling political offense and cronies. Raila and Ruto must go. Thank you for your comment. And we have Atimna Atieno too saying, Judy Raila has fought for this country sana wakati anataka msaada kwa watu wanamtusi, wacha tujipimie wenyewe. Thank you so much, everyone, for sharing your thought. Mr. Black, thank you so much. If you are here for the very first time, and kindly subscribe and like the video or like the show so that we can continue going on and giving our analysis. Judy, like, share, comment, and subscribe to brother. Thank you so much for that. We really appreciate you so much. Makubura, now, another thing that is in the room is about the justice for the people, the victims, the men and women of this our country who have lost their lives during the political processes. Counting all the way from 2007, 2008, coming all the way to where we are. Are we going to see the justice of these people, the justice of the victims of police brutality happening? Are we going to see the justice? And how are the people going to be held responsible? Especially when we start with the recent one, we see, sometimes our police do not just go on the street and start doing that. They have to get an order from somewhere. And we know then Honorable Kindiki was in charge. and we had Bungei also was in charge. We had the former IG of the police who resigned too was in charge. And if we want to hold people accountable for what they did, how are they going to hold even the president? Because the president too was in charge. Because remember, anything that happened to the country right now, yeah, the president, as the head of state, as the father of the nation, will be held accountable. Remember, if to say like today, there must be, because Africa Cup of Nation is coming in, yeah? Let's say if Kenya wins a World Africa Cup of Nation during the time when President Ruto is in office, actually that will go to him. It will be in the book of history as Ruto is the only president who, during his tenure, Kenya won African Cup. I'm just giving example. Yeah, so everything that has really happened, especially during this, President Ruto will be held accountable. And how are we going to hold him accountable? How are we going to hold those who are in command accountable if they are in the government of national unity with ODM? That is my question to you, my brother.
Number one thing that was presented before in the NADCO report was justice to the people who were killed by the police. When we, in 2028, when Raila joined hands with Uhuru, the former president, that was also number one thing that he was seeking for, justice for the fallen heroes, those who died while demonstrating, fighting for the rights of the people of Kenya. In this, recently when NADCO was started, number one thing was the people of Kenya requested justice for the people who were killed by the police.
Yeah.
And I remember they were very keen, and they said that there is nothing else that there's no any conversation that they would continue with if the people who died to not have been given justice.
Yes.
And so this brings me to this question. And the reason why actually most young people have been demonstrating is they've been seeking for justice. When we've been having these mandamanos with the Gen Zs, so many of them have been killed. And remember, the Gen Z said, the young people said that we want justice for the people who were killed by the police. The person or the people who would have helped us, the person or the people who would have helped us to fight for the people who died, actually that should be the opposition side, because normally from what we've seen in the republic, members of parliament who are in the side of the government, most of times they tend not to bother when it comes to fighting for these just injustices.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they view it as these people are fighting or these people are against the government, so they don't really bother. But I think from where I sit and the role of members of parliament, they're supposed to look for justice for everyone, whether these people are pro-government or against the government. So my worry is, from what we've seen, the ODM did,
mm-hmm.
from the appointments we saw, I don't see a possibility of these people, someone going to follow up to ensure that they get justice. True. Unless this demonstration by the young people continues.
Okay.
Unless these young people continues with the demonstration, maybe the president will listen and at least justice would be given to the people who lost their lives. But again, without someone in parliament following up, because now from what we are seeing, almost every member of parliament is with the side of the president, and so they don't really care.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Jairus Champa, thank you so much for your comment, and your comment say congratulations to His Excellency Samoei Ruto kwa mawaziri ambao umeteua leo. Thank you so much for your comment, because different people have different views. We are not saying that we are right on what analysis we are giving. We are just giving it on our thought, and we really appreciate Mr. Jairus Chamba for giving your view, because that is the Kenya we want, a Kenya whereby everybody can give their view. despite the political affiliation, because everybody has a right to do so. Thank you so much, Mr. for being part of the conversation. If you're new, again, we are just requesting, just share the video and be part of us by subscribing. Okay, Makubura, you talk about Eric Obura, let's preach peace countrywide and unity. Of course, yes, we don't have any other country apart from Kenya. I agree with you 100%, Mr. Eric, and that is what should come. Thank you so much, Mr. Eric, for just a beautiful comment as we weigh on what has really transpired. And we are looking forward, because everybody was saying that the government or the country was not headed in the right direction. And now, Makobura, and another thing that also I wanted to hear your view, or another thing that I would want to say about the government. The president gave some austerity measures that I think, like, okay, this is the way forward that we are going to use. But if you see the way the ministers have been nominated to accommodate everyone, was it necessary? Was it necessary? And like I was saying, that if for example, we were very patriotic Kenyans and we see this is our country, yeah, and I know the president is not doing well, yeah, and this is our country. Because one thing that we have to agree, if the country is going down, not only the president is going to go down, everybody is going to go down, because this is a country that everybody lives in. And then we say, as political leaders or the people, the professionals, talk about the accountant, the economist, everybody with the profession, and take that leadership role or patriotism in you and say, Mr. President, you are doing it wrong. This is the way it should be. And I don't need anything in return. Yeah. I don't need anything in return. What I want you to do, just pick somebody who is competent, somebody who is professional in that, because this is our country. But this idea of giving in return, whereby it's even like you see what is happening in Azimio too, is breaking down. So I don't think we have a very strong opposition. What is your take on that? And as you look also in the part of Azimio, what is the way forward?
Me, I've always believed that if the president wanted to bring calm in this nation, he has the capability, he has everything that it takes. But I believe that he actually doesn't want to do that. It could be that people are around him, people surrounding him, people close to him, his advisors are not really doing the right thing. Mm-hmm. But I think they should look at this thing in a broader way, because this is a nation. It has more than 50 million people. Mm-hmm. And once you're a leader, of course, you have to listen to the people. You have to ask them, what do you think I should do here? As much as you make the final decisions, but it is good to understand the people. Remember, in Kenya, we have one of the best professionals. We have very learned people in the Republic of Kenya. The problem here is once the president gets closer to the political side, political friends, these people tend not to give him the right advice. These people tends to give wrong advice to an extent that the president cannot even listen or seek help or advice from technocrats. But he can't seek help from professionals. And this is where we are messing. You find that, for example, a cabinet secretary might have a knowledge in a specific docket. They are given that ministry. Mm-hmm. But the problem is, these are people who have been in politics for long. They've not practiced the profession for quite some time.
Yeah.
Most of the time they've been in politics. So actualizing whatever professionals are supposed to do, you find that they miss it. They miss it. But again, since they've been politicians, sometimes the mistake that they do is they're used to looting, they're used to making mistakes, they're used to taking from the government. So there is no transparency, and that is what we've been seeing among the leaders. Mm-hmm. Because they don't want transparent people, and they don't want the people of Kenya to know what is happening, they will keep on recycling close allies. They will keep on recycling political leaders, because they know somehow kuna vile watafunika zingine hazitajulikana outside. This is where we are doing it wrong. So the president has to make tough decisions if he want to save himself and his government. Is right.
Makubura, do you think at this time now we should be blaming president? Because look at this way, you know. Remember, I just want to bring you back to the 2018 when President Ruto and the Right Honorable Prime Minister shook hands, and they pushed for everything, including BBI. And if you remember very well, before then, the Right Honorable Prime Minister and Uhuru Kenyatta, on the public, I think they were not seeing eye to eye. They would call, you know, that kind of like bitter exchange, and like the people of Kenya, you know, would become very angry with each other, you know. If I'm coming from maybe coming from Nyanza, I would want to talk. I don't want to talk with somebody from Central, just because the two intrigues whereby we will blame leaders for the status of the status of our community, you know, that kind of politics, you know. But in the essence, you know, it is not true. Yeah. Yeah. So I think as much as we might say that the president has to get has to put his government in order, is like now, it is about the leaders themselves. Like we said, that you have to put your leaders house in order, because it is now true and confirmed to me that even the elections that we are going through, we were just going to fulfill the spirit of our constitution, but it is not a mandatory to some leaders. Because at the end of the day, we know for a fact that, oh, something has really happened. Because to see people coming out and look at even like just what happened today about the Gen Z, you know, they're raising fundamental questions, and they're not asking for any position. They're not asking for being a leader. There's nothing that they are asking for. But the only thing that they want to do in return is, Mr. President, can you explain to us the status of our public debt? A public debt that the people do not know about. They just told is a public debt. You know, there's this thing they used, they call a public debt. Remember when the president came into the office, he said that he found that the treasury had nothing, you know, but ever since has he even come out to explain to the people of Kenya that I got nothing, but from now, this is what we have. Remember, this is a government that president, when he was going to the United States, he said that the airline was chartered by friends, and to make the matters even more interesting, the members of the oppositions or the member of the minority were there when people raised the question. You know, it was just played. So I think for me, it is now the people, the young people, who feel like, okay, we need to have an alternative government whereby we can hold leaders accountable, because holding them accountable has become futile. Because to me, it was the perfect time that ODM or the Azimio could have come together and say, okay, these are the things that we have been fighting for, and now we've gotten you on our side. Let's push it, you know. And if we push it, the country will be benefiting by not joining, being in the side of the ruling party, not, you know, but they did the opposite. So I think it is a wake-up call, especially for Kenyan people, and how to go forward on how to start the political processes whereby we can have our leaders accountable, and we can make that leaders that, I mean, that country that we desire, where the issue of leaderless, tribaless, faceless, and all that comes in, so that whenever I see somebody to become president, somebody can become president from Ogiek family, I will not have a problem with it, because I know it's going to serve our country. It's not going to serve his community. That is also what I think.
You heard the president and even the Azimio party leader was saying that they have implored the government to come up with a Broadway government, a government that is inclusive,
It's not inclusive.
I'm saying that is what the president said, and that is what the Azimio said. But we saw amendments. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know whether inclusivity meant that appointing the members of ODM party, that would mean inclusivity.
But if you don't know, Makobura, when we talk about inclusivity, look at how inclusivity has been defined in terms of action. Ever since we come into a broad-based government, this is not the first time you're coming into that government. When we talk about inclusivity in the political horizon, in the brotherism Rubicon, where we have that, the inclusivity is how can the closest associates of me being given ministerial post, or how can the tribal, we give tribes, and then they say that because one of us is over there, so this is inclusion. Now we are in the government. But what about the Ogiek family? What will the Ogiek family say? Are they
yeah, that is that's what I'm saying, that this issue of politicians coming on stage and then starting to give pressers just because in one way or another they want to be relevant or to look relevant in the eyes of the people is one thing that we should not accept as a country. This was the right time that all the issues, the negativities, the problems that we felt that this constitution was not really talking about, or everything that we felt that the constitution was talking about but was not done the right way, this was the right time that we had to look into this. And if it meant even changing the constitution, part of it being some amendment, I think this was the right time. But I want to say that whatever the ODM party has done, it is not what is right, because they have simply in one way or another, what they've done is they have carried, ni kama wana Gen Z ama wana youths, tulikuwa kwa mbio, and then watu wanapeana hii kijiti, and then when the youths are almost at the finishing point, ODM imekuja imewanyang'anya nini ikaenda nayo. So this is what we are seeing.
But remember also, you have to look at the benefit of the Gen Z movement, you know. In terms of the political class, the people who have benefited for what the Gen Z were pushing for, they're not, even though there are some conditions that have been met, but the highest people that have benefited is Right Honorable Prime Minister and
that's why I'm saying
William Ruto. Those are the people who have benefited. You know,
that's what I'm saying, that this was a race.
Yeah.
Na ilikuwa this race of hii ya kupeana kijiti. How do we call it in English?
Relay.
So sure. Yeah, relay.
Yes.
So when the Gen Zs were almost finishing the race, they were giving it to the last person. What we see is when they were almost at the finishing point, they're remaining with one person to finish the race.
Yeah.
When ODM took it, then ODM just went with it somewhere else. So after the young people fighting for it, and then giving the last person who should then finish the race, the person has just decided to mess them up at the last time. So this is what we are seeing. So I think we have to rethink as a people when it comes to the people that we give, the leaders that we give time to lead us. We have to rethink. Whenever we are going to the ballot, we have to scrutinize. We have to keenly analyze people that we give the mandate to represent us. Because if we don't give the right people, if we don't give people who are accountable, people who are truthful, people who are going to respect the constitution and even respect the people, then this is where the problems starts. And this is the mistake that we've been having. We've been seeing politicians who get into political positions by bribing the people. So once they get there, all they respect is the money that they have. What they do is to loot so that they get a lot of money, and that is what is going to bring them back to power. And this is what we're saying. We need to rethink. We need to go back to the drawing board as a people.
Okay, Makubura, you talked about the money, and we have always talked about what we call commercialization of politics, and how politics has always been commercialized. Like anytime an idea or an idea comes to threaten what is there, even you can even have, like you saw what happened in KTN. They were giving some small like short videos of how some politicians were dishing out money for the goons to come and infiltrate peaceful protests. And now that has really confirmed to us that the people who were doing property destruction and the people who did weird things, they were not the Gen Zs. So you see, like the people who create these problems, they are politicians, you know, because if
And
you
then
could,
they cry louder. They
yeah,
cry louder than the people who have been injured.
and they create this mess, and they say like, okay, now, and this was a diversionary tactics, especially to taint the good movement that was there. If you're joining us for the very first time, Mark or Victor Oteng, thank you so much for following us. If you're joining us for the very first time and you're new in this channel, please kindly, we are requesting you to be part of us. And for those who have joined us, thank you so much for what you're doing. Thank you so much for your support. We don't take it for granted, and your support is so much important to us. Makubura, also, I'm talking about when you talk about the commercialization of politics, and one of the things that might be contributing to about this is what especially the young people who want to become leaders, especially in these political parties, the stress and the challenges they go through, the amount of money they have to bribe their way, or maybe if they go to the nomination, they win in the nomination, they're being denied the certificate. So for those who made it to immediately pass nomination, because you did not go with the people, you gave out some money, and you're given certificate, so you need to get it back. So whenever the money comes your way, you say, okay, I have to get back what I used. So some of the things that also they should be checked at is the political parties, instead of them being individualized, and being what we call the regionalism of political parties, and the kingpinship of the political parties, where the democracy does not exist in this political party, because delegates cannot, if you go to run for a presidency as a president of ODM or a Wiper, you cannot win there, because like there are positions that are meant for particular people. As we speak today, all these political parties, the officials that are there, were not even democratically elected. These are people that were appointed in those political party. I did not see, apart from UDA that did at the grassroots level, but the national level, those are still holding, like Secretary General for the UDA, Honorable Malala. Malala was not elected by the delegates of UDA. He was appointed by the president. Sifuna was not elected by the ODM. He was appointed by the party. And you see how the masters of politics, remember what happened to the Amani, where Mudavadi, I don't know, he folded his party. Right now he's a partyless. The Amani Congress was folded just because he's the owner of that party. They decide, okay, now we are folding. But Makiyu, remember, you all have almost over 1 million people. How can 1 million people just decide, okay, we don't want Amani, and now you have to join another party that we are coming at Kenya Kwanza? And how sure are you that the Kenya Kwanza administration is going to be there forever? So those are some of the things, and the political party should be looked into, and make them to become like institution. They're national, not individualized.
The conversation about the political party, it was a topic in the NADCO report. It was one of very important issues that they needed to resolve. But remember, the people who fronted this, they're currently in the government. So we are still going to see this problem in the coming future. That's the painful bit.
And the worst part of it is, you see, the NADCO report is going to be implemented whether you like it or not. And the positions that are there are going to accommodate all these leaders, because look at the the broad-based government, they say that is what is coming in that was actually what is in the NADCO report, because we have we have an opposition with the two deputies, we have prime cabinet secretary, we have the deputy president. And I said that why all this and duplication of roles? In Kenya is where duplication of roles is there. For instance,
and then the funny thing is the people who are being appointed, they have no clue about the docket, they have no knowledge at all on
because if what is there is that if you are so much knowledgeable of where you're appointed, because like there are some questions that you will be raising to your master which they don't like, because they like rubber stamping, so you should not be there. They can put anybody somewhere. So I was talking about also the duplication of roles. There's so many duplication of roles in this country, and you wonder, look, for example, when it comes to bursaries, the MP has a bursary, the women rep has a bursary, the governor has a bursary, the senator, I don't know, has a bursary.
The MCA.
Look at even what is happening right now with the office of Gachagua. Is given money to eradicate the issue of drug abuse, and we have Nakada. So some money is given to Gachagua to eradicate that, and Nakada also gets some money. So it's just a duplication of roles, and especially when it comes to the educational sector. If at all they could abolish all these things to do with education, like bursaries that they give, and make it a central place whereby the one that governor is giving, the one that MCA or bring them together, and the entire constituency or the entire county, people will go to school. But duplication of
Benson, there's nothing. Actually, this issue of bursary given to the women rep, to the MP, to the governor, to the MCs, this is just a way of looting the Republic of Kenya. That is what they're doing. This is just a leeway for them to squander or to loot the money, the public money. If any serious government who wants to help the people, what they're supposed to do is the amount of money that they give through the bursary. If they consolidate that and then they just readjust the budget. The people of Kenya should be talking now about a free education.
True.
There should be actually an option of those who want to pay. They should be given an option to pay, and they should either make those other schools become national or whatever. There are so many people in the Republic of Kenya who cannot afford education. They're very much yearning to get the right education, but people are very poor. I'm quite sure even you know, maybe from where you're coming, you know how people are really suffering to raise school fees.
Yeah, I know.
So many young ladies, young girls, they are getting married at a tender age because they cannot get the money or the fee to continue schooling. So, I know of so many people who cannot even go get admission in the universities, but they qualified. I know of so many young people who qualified for universities, but they can't join because there's no money. If a lady qualifies, for example, to go for further education, but they can't actually get that access, what is the next thing that they do? They get the next option would be getting married. And remember, when they're getting married, they don't actually choose. They have no option of choosing or even making the right decision. They will end up suffering just because there's no one to help them. And this is why we are messing. The government is wasting very good brains. We need the government to consolidate and come up with a free education system in the Republic of Kenya, because education is a basic right.
And Marco Bura, just you said something that is very right about education. Annie, thank you so much. Hey, Black is here. If you know Black, thank you so much for knowing our friend Black. He's a friend of the channel. He's also a personal friend. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for your comment. You can also interact with us by giving us your comments so that we can read from them. And by giving us comment, it also make us learn the way you view it, so that our views are not the right views. This is just like we are just trying to analyze what is there. So keep on writing those comments as we see them, and it will be very helpful for us. You talk about education, and one of the things that this is a true life experience. When you go back to the village, I tell you, even raising a mother to raise the rim paper is a major issue, and the rim paper is only
when you've talked about a rim paper, and then I've remembered when I was in high school.
Yeah,
we would take 2 good weeks at home just because we didn't have the money. Not just me, so many people. Actually, we would be sent home, and we'd take 2 good weeks at home just waiting to get. But then it was 450.
Yeah.
And then if imagine a student is losing 2 good weeks just because they can't get the rims.
Yeah,
but the schools and everything is going on. Are we really doing justice to our children?
No.
Do we really care about the education system?
No, it's not. And talking about the rim, and it's 700 to about 800. I tell you, like you'd meet somebody who would reach out to you. They've been staying home because some of the head teachers are very, very, very understanding, because their parents, they know what other parents are going through. They tend to be lenient, and you find that somebody has he has not taken rims for like almost the school is asking about around every term. So you find this person has 6, so which means you've been a year and some in school, and you still, until the head teacher say no, now is not. And now this person will just sitting home just only for a rim paper. And these are some of the things that government can provide as a stationery, So it is very, very, very difficult to understand. Makobura, before we wind up, now we've talked about Raila, we've talked about Ruto, we've tried to share our views on how the government is going to be, what was supposed to be done. We are not saying that we are correct. No, there are several people who right now are talking about what has really happened by OEDM and Raila joining with President Ruto, the political casualties. So many things have been said about this in various platforms. We are also just giving our views the way we feel, or the way we give our analysis, the best way. We are not saying that we are the best, but we are just trying to weigh options together with other Kenyans, and each and every person's opinion is welcome here because your opinion counts. Now, before we wind out the show, what is Azimio going to do, especially the other political parties who have stood their ground and saying, no, we are not joining this government?
Constitutionally, if ODM has decided to join the government,
true,
the remaining parties within the Azimio should take over the control of the opposition party. And the bigger party that is remaining, since we've not seen any appointment within the Wiper, I think Wiper is now the biggest party in Azimio.
But do you think the Azimio party will give the minority leader?
I'm headed there.
Okay,
so constitutionally, Wiper should take over immediately. But because we have a dictator party. We had a dictator party in the Azimio. That's a fact. There is going to be a lot of chaos within Azimio, because I remember when the current speaker was leaving, but then it was NASA. Remember, he said he will leave, but there are going to be casualties. So the same, it is going to be messy and with casualties. Again, we're going to see that in Azimio. But legally, if ODM leaves, Wiper should take over the leadership of the opposition, and they should be given the post of the minority leader. And again, whatever positions that were held by the ODM party should then be given to the constituent parties that are still remaining within Azimio. But from where I sit and from where I see, the kind of leadership that I know what we've seen with ODM, it is not going to be easy. And again, considering the fact that they are now having a support of a ruling government.
Ruling government.
Yeah, unless we have a good, unless the court does what is right, because constitutionally they are doing what is wrong. So the only savior here is the courts, and possibly we believe that they will do what is right.
And remember even how the case for Sabina Chege was done. The ODM and the Azimio were very, very vocal about, because Sabina Chege joined the government now.
Yeah, we want to see them do the same.
We want to see them do the same.
About democracy.
Yeah.
Let democracy be spread and be seen everywhere.
Yeah, so that is what we are looking for. And do you think the parties that are left, the Kalonzo Musyoka, the Gideon Moi, who he's not even in the public domain for the longest time. We have Jeremiah Kioni, who is representing the party of Uhuru Kenyatta. We have Eugene Wamalwa. We have Wajakoya. We have Her Excellency Martha Karua, who has made her stand very clear from the beginning of NADCO report. Will they be in opposition? Will they be in the position to tackle and put the grand or broad-based government into check? Will they have that capacity?
It is a test.
Yeah,
they have to come out. They have to do it in a better way that they can, because they have the support of the people. That's a fact. Remember, a majority of Kenyans are not happy with the ruling government.
Yeah.
So the people who are going to be in opposition they have to be tested again, and out of that test, if they perform well, they will get some rewards from the people of Kenya. So it is a test that it's a test that is exposing the parties that have been left.
Yeah.
Out of that exposure, they either have a leeway of doing what is right or messing up. If they lose hope, it's upon them. If they do what is good, I'm sure that the people of Kenya would really give them back what is
what is then. And also let us look at, because what has really happened, it does not only end here. It has a foreseeable future whereby we are looking at 2027, because when interest converge, because I think like right now the interest of the ODM and the interest of Ruto especially, Ruto, or either Raila and Ruto, their interests are now kind of like converging together. They have shared interest. And now we are looking at 2027. What are we seeing in 2027? If maybe you might have a view or a thought on it?
Yeah, my view is, we've seen the party leader of ODM is currently having a good relationship with the president, who is also having his party. We've seen the two deputy party leaders of ODM being appointed as cabinet secretaries in a ruling government, even though ODM is an opposition party.
Yeah.
We've also seen a minority leader, Opiyo Wandayi, being appointed as a cabinet secretary.
Oh, energy.
Yeah, we've also seen the chairman of ODM being appointed as the cabinet secretary. This is a party that has always told us so many things about the stand of the constitution.
The rule of law. Let's talk about the rule of law.
Yeah, this was a good test, and truly, from what we've seen, ODM was joking with the people of Kenya. Because why would they preach to us about what the constitution says, and then they're not doing what the constitution says? Where are you? So from where I sit, I see a possibility of ODM disappearing in this sense. William Ruto would be defending his seat come 2027.
That's true.
And remember, the two deputy party leaders are cabinet secretaries. They would also want to be retained as cabinet secretaries.
Remember, so that report is going to be implemented. So that's where like the issue comes in.
Yeah, and that means the two deputy party leaders are in cabinets. They would want to continue being in those positions in 2027. The chairman of ODM and the party, the minority leader, are also I'm sure that they would want to continue being in those positions. So in short, they will be supporting William Samoei Ruto.
Okay, thank you. Hold it there.
The leaders of the ODM.
Then before that, I'll give on Ayazimio. Then we will ask, where does Babu Owino, the likes of Babu Owino, the likes of James Orengo, made it very clear. You're coming to that, but let me give my analysis of what I think is going to happen for 2027. I might not be very right. This is what I think. What is going to happen is this: we are going to see Rigathi Gachagua and Kalonzo Musyoka coming together, and other OKA members. Yeah, and maybe Rigathi Gachagua, Jeremiah Kioni, and Eugene Wamalwa are going to team up together because they will be looking at central Kenya votes. Yeah, so that one might happen because there are going to be friction within the government. That is what is going to happen, and I'm seeing a possibility of William Ruto. Right now, William Ruto and ODM are coming together in Musalia Mudavadi, and this is a rebirth of the Pentagon. The 2007 is back. That is a rebirth, despite the fact that Najib Balala and Nyaga, who is late, is not there. So that is what I'm seeing, the rebirth, and the Joho is going to represent the coastal people. Then they will get somebody, especially like Ndindi Nyoro and Kimani Ichung'wah. Those are going to represent the Mount Kenya. So that is what is going to happen. So it is going to be the Raila factor, the Pentagon, the rebirth of the face of the Pentagon, and the Kalonzo, the Kalonzo factor, and Rigathi Gachagua, because for 100% sure, based on how the Nyeri governor is talking, things are not going to be very rosy. That's the fact when you read the politics. And just talk about, where does this one leave Babu Owino, especially a member of ODM, and James Orengo, who were opposing this?
If from what I've been seeing as a Kenyan, the young people they've been revolting, they've been demonstrating, and they also soon, as much as their leadership, they are leaderless now, they are partyless, they are going to need a leader. And so I'm keenly looking at it in this angle. The likes of James Orengo, the likes of Babu Owino, they have seen a possibility of them going to be needed to be in leadership in the coming days by the young people. And remember, the young people are the majority, and they've Orengo has spoken well. He has spoken the words of the young people. Babu again has also been speaking the words of the young people. So in one way or another, there's a possibility, of course, the young people will have a party or a leadership in the coming days. And from where I sit, the young people have been talking so much about Babu. Orengo also did the right thing by trying to dissociate himself.
What people are saying about Orengo, sorry to cut you short, people are saying the reason why Orengo is standing with the people is because he knows very well that even in Siaya County is not doing very well, and occupy places that is being said by the Gen Z. So is trying to be ahead of the Gen Z by being in their shoes so that he doesn't get the salamu.
Yeah, but getting into those shoes, but when it is trying to get in those shoes, remember, as much as he's trying that, I think it's somehow safe politically, because when you're with the youths, then politically you are okay. That is what we saw. That's how actually UDA came to power. That is the strategy.
Look at our friend is here, Kenya Revolutionary. Thank you so much, my brother. I really, really appreciate so much. And we also do the same thing that we are doing. So if you are here and you want to listen to the same talk, no different, we do the same thing, what we are doing. And you can also visit his channel, subscribe over there. Let's continue with the conversation, because we are going to all spaces. YouTube, Facebook, X, everywhere, the same conversation is going on. So join the Kenya Revolutionary channel, subscribe there, be part of the conversation. Thank you, my brother. I always appreciate you. Thank you so much. Makubura, continue.
Yeah, so there's a possibility that the young people are going to come up with a political party in the coming days, and the likes of Baba Owino, the likes of Sifuna. Remember that the young politicians who have been seen.
Now you're talking about Sifuna. You know, Sifuna has been a darling of the people, you know, and he has been very, very, very vocal, very eloquent, very articulate in everything that he says, and very, very good debater in terms of public and everywhere.
Kind of confusion that they're getting in ODM. I'm really sure that they are these young leaders, they wish the ODM was no longer there, or Raila had gone to AU.
How is Sifuna going to play it? Because remember, is one of the loved ones, and like the people that have been giving people hope. You know, let me just bring for you a history. There was a time, especially when the super senator Sakaja, we have the governor for Mtula Kilonzo Jr. Makueni. Remember when these guys were on the show, like you feel the rebirth of New Kenya. And when Sakaja came to be a governor, all disappointed. Nairobi is not doing good. The governor Mtula Kilonzo is doing good, but now Sifuna, where does this put Sifuna in ODM when all this is chaotic?
The good thing about the people of Kenya generally, they are people who understands. We currently understand the situation in ODM. We currently understand the positions that the likes of Sifuna are holding. So should they have issues and then they come back to the people, of course, they shall be analyzed. And if there are things that the people would want to know, of course, they will just come out and speak to the people. There's a possibility that they shall be forgiven by the people, and the people would still respect and follow their political directions. Okay, so the leaderless people are soon going to have a party, and the likes of Baba Owino, Sifuna, they're the people who will lead that party.
Okay, Where do we leave the church members? Because, you know, for the longest time, churches has been like a place where the political gathering has always been taken. And with the coming of the Gen Z, we saw like bringing them back at least to the track of where they should be. But now with this government, are they going to say, yes, it's okay, what Raila has done or what the ODM has done is something that is commendable, or where do you see the church standing? Because like they're also part of the society and the part of conversation. And I don't know what our Muslim brothers actually are saying, because for the longest time they've been so silent. I've never seen them so much very, very vocal, because the president has been one president who has always gone with the Christian religion. I've never seen even, you know, kind of like our Muslim brothers are kind of like wametengwa, naweza sema hivyo kwa Kiswahili.
I liked when the Azimio were doing their campaigns. They really involved everyone, and that's one thing that we have to congratulate. You know, Kenya has there are so many people in the Republic of Kenya who are coming from different religious groups. So constitutionally and as a people, we are brothers, we are sisters. We have to recognize and respect the religion and the beliefs and the cultures of other people. So I loved the fact that Azimio were very passionate about bringing people together. They were very passionate about other religious groups, and they ensured that everyone was within, and everyone had a chance to give their opinion and to also be part of the conversation. Of late, of course, they never took power, so we are not so sure if suppose they would have taken, but I believe they would have continued with the same spirit. So that's a good spirit that every party should actually address. But from what we've seen currently, when it comes to religious groups, especially the Christianity, where I belong, we've not as a country, we are not happy with the religious leaders in the Christianity part.
Okay.
They let us down. We used to see sometimes back when we've been seeing revolutions, when we've been fighting for the rights, for democracy, for the justice to the people who have faced injustice. The only people who are very passionate and standing with the people by then were the religious leaders. We've not forgotten the likes of Bishop Ndindi.
Ndindi Mwananzeki, Timothy Njoya.
Yes, those who are, you see, you ask everyone, they will tell you that we remember them because of this and this. But the problem we are seeing today is religious leaders. They are being bought by the political parties. They are being coerced to reason as per the demands of the people in leadership. They're being bribed. That's what I would say. They're being bribed to say a specific thing that is pro-government, and this is why we are messing. They are no longer fighting for the people of Kenya. They are no longer reminding the government that there is God, and that God needs to be respected. In short, what we are seeing, even we saw the other day, the young people are saying that. Some of them were saying that there is even no need of going to church in some churches because the leaders and the people who are in one way or another supporting the government, as the government, as the police were killing the young people. As the people were being killed, instead of consoling the people, the bereaved, the religious leaders were going to pray in the state house. Some of them were going to console members of parliament who had been chased when they were making laws which are not pro-people, when they were passing a bill that had been rejected by the people. The people, when they ran away from the parliament, we saw religious leaders going to their homes to console them just because they were chased. So these people have forgotten their role. They have become like the Sadducees and the scribes.
and okay, I don't know whether you're done. Then I can give my last remark. We close the show just to let them know that another session will be coming at around 10:30. Are you done? So about the church, so I can give my comment. Another thing that I also want to give about the church is about the churches now. When it comes, majority of the churches that the ones that are running most of the expensive hospital, most of the expensive schools, whereby even the congregants over there cannot even afford those fee for those schools. Yet they're the people who are contributing for the sadaka. Yeah. Makobura naweza nadhani najua bado utakuja kukua katika kikao na ndugu yangu Barak, na ningependa kuchukua fursa hii kabisa kwangu kabisa nishukuru watazamaji wetu ambao wamekuwa na sisi kwa takriban karibu masaa mawili. Tunawashukuru sana na tunawathamani na tunasema asanteni sana kukuwa na sisi kwa muda huu wote ambao tumekuwa tukijadili mambo ya nchi yetu, na tunatoa tu hisia zetu kwa yale ambayo yalitendeka kwa mawaziri kuteuliwa sana kutoka kwa chama cha ODM ambao ni upinzani, na kwa saa hizi tunajua kwamba ODM kama chama cha upinzani imeungana na serikali na labda wametengeneza serikali inaitwa serikali ya mseto. So tutaangalia venye mambo venye kutakuwa. Na pili pia ningependa kuchukua nafasi hii kupatiana mwenzangu na kakangu Makobura kuchukua muda hii. Wewe tumejadili, si rahisi sana, umefanya na mimi kipindi mzuri na tunawashukuru sana. Kwa wale ambao wanatutazama again, kama wewe si ungana na sisi na ukue mmoja wetu, na tutashukuru na tunashukuru kwa hayo machache. Asanteni sana Wakenya wenzangu, mimi nawatakia kila laheri njema na maisha mzuri. Asanteni sana, Mungu abariki, na tukutane tena katika kipindi ambao kinakuja hewani hivi karibuni. Asante, Mungu abariki.